I'm Alan Dale, Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Surface analysis at midday shows high pressure sitting near Omaha, Nebraska. That's just the start of it. Secondary high, or I guess you'd probably even say the main body high, is back to the north and west over eastern parts of Montana into the western Dakotas. This is the Arctic air that we're talking about. Very interesting frontal boundary complex sitting down over Arizona, New Mexico, and back into southern California. You've got one low there near the Las Vegas area, but I'm actually more interested in a nice little curve, nice little buckle in the front over central parts of New Mexico. I think we're going to be seeing another low form there, and this will be the start of a system that tries to kick itself out into the nation's midsection over the next day to day and a half or so. I'm looking for this to promote some snow, very, very light snow in terms of new moisture, over parts of eastern Colorado, northeast New Mexico, Texas, Panhandle into Kansas. Right now I'm looking for amounts probably a few hundredths of an inch. That is all. Blowing snow, though, going to be a bigger deal. And, for example, very small moisture amounts overnight last night did produce some snows that accumulated nicely, an inch or two, on some surfaces in Wichita, Kansas, and down through parts of south central Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma. So it doesn't take much this time of year, but I think winds and visibility and slick roads are probably going to be more of a problem than the actual snowfall itself. So as that system kicks out, we'll be watching it very, very closely in the days ahead here. New model information into us on the GFS showing not much change from earlier in the day and the week. It's kind of interesting. We're hearing some talk about where it's going to be warm and where it's going to be cold. Just saw the latest maps coming out of the GFS ensemble run, and it's showing a massive, massive cold air push into the deep south as we head toward mid-month. So much so that, one guy said, hey, this could spell trouble for Florida citrus. All right, this is way far out. I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon yet, but I'm going to have difficulty talking about warm air or even warmer than normal air anywhere except the far western part of the country, the Pacific Northwest through northern California, Nevada, in the days and weeks ahead. The rest of this country is settling in for a cold air push. Yes, temperatures moderate toward the end of this week. I think we moderate back to normal, maybe a few degrees above for a day or two in the middle of the country. But generally speaking, there is cold air coming, and it's going to sit around. It's going to park for a while. You can't argue with that. And as we go through the middle part of the month, actually around the 9th or 10th, the newest model information in shows a much better weather system trying to come together the 9th into the 10th over the nation's midsection, Corn Belt. With the way this is coming together, I think it's going to be another one of those mostly snow, maybe rain trying to change the snow events that we normally see this time of year. But we're definitely want to play it more toward the snow side of things. Cold air being in for several days in advance, meaning that we're going to be looking at cold ground surfaces already. Models might be overshooting those atmospheric temperatures just a little bit. Also like another potential strong system coming out of the Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma area around the 15th into the 16th, so we'll have to watch that. But cold air is definitely the number one thing on people's minds. Here short term, it looks like we got another night of brutally cold air. Temperatures well below zero from the Dakotas down into southwest Kansas. I will say this, clouds did help a large part of the northern plains last night, missing the potential lows by about 8 to 10 degrees in spots. It was all due to cloud cover. If we can repeat that, even though tonight looks to be almost as cold in terms of the air mass itself, we might be able to do okay. Winds should subside here as we go through probably tomorrow night and into New Year's Day. Actually looking for some of those winds to shift to the south across the central plains, if even for a short period of time. International weather still got a little bit of concern over some dryness in northeastern parts of Brazil, from eastern Goiás over through southern parts of Bahia. I saw temperatures there in the mid-90s yesterday. Looks like we're going to duplicate it again today. Have sources on the ground that are telling me this is about day 5 of the warm and dry in that area. I'm seeing it could continue for another 7 to 8, maybe a little bit more. We'll have to watch that. Good rains coming in there around the 7th, 8th, 9th time frame. But we'll see the temperatures probably doing more problems than more damage than the actual lack of precipitation right now. Farther south in Brazil, plentiful moisture. Looks like good moisture there in the weeks ahead. But Argentina also looks pretty good. One thing to consider, though, when we talk about Brazil and the fact that we've got plentiful rain in a large part, but we're talking about heat and dryness and others, one person put it best on social media earlier today when they said, keep in mind Brazil is the size of the contiguous United States. So there's not a lot of surprise here that we can be super dry or really warm in one spot and not see it across the rest of ag country. And the number one soybean producing state, Mato Grosso, that's where things are actually looking just fine right now as well. So it might be a small story. I want to throw this out there just so you know when things maybe pop up on the old radar screen. If you hear little bits and pieces different places, it is something we're watching. But right now, looks to be a fairly localized event. That's what we've got in your forecast here at midday. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.